one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Around the rest of the agenda, approve the minutes, we have to amend the agenda. Ron, we left the approving the minutes off the agenda, should we amend the agenda?
Yes.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to amend the agenda to approve the September 6th and September 19th minutes. Second on that?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
We have to discuss things before you can take action on them.
You can have, after it's seconded, it's open for discussion.
So I would, one, like to know why I was given a copy of this agenda at 6:51 tonight, which is not the requisite amount of time. I would also like to know why the things that Councilmember Jack Downton had asked to be put on the agenda were not placed on the agenda. And I would also like to ask who took the minutes for your special meeting in mid-September, and if that person who took the minutes also voted on the things on the agenda.
To answer your first question, both you, Jack, and the mayor were emailed. They both received it, the agenda and the minutes. That was sent out Saturday afternoon, I think around 5 o'clock, early evening.
So is there a reason
With
why we
regard
don't
to your
get
second,
paper copies?
third question, we were instructed that it was all right for me to be assistant secretary, to take minutes, and to vote.
Who instructed you on that?
A question was asked to Ron multiple times during that meeting, and his response was the same. There was no issue. But unless I put words into your mouth.
No.
So there's two different things in the code book about having be an assistant secretary. And the first one that's in the code book, and I don't know what chapter it's under now, but it does say that no council member can be any other, I think it says agency or something like that, of the borough. But then it goes ahead and says that a council member can be an assistant secretary. There's nothing in there that says that they can vote. And then it does say that can they be an assistant secretary without a secretary?
He can be an assistant secretary, and he can vote. That was the legal opinion I gave him. I stand by that.
So with him being an assistant secretary, we don't need a secretary.
No, we can get a secretary.
Okay.
But in the pinch that we had, they did what they had to do. They need to, Starrucca Borough needs to.
All right. Just put this to rest.
Yeah, I haven't finished. You asked me, I'm giving an answer. Starrucca Borough needs to conduct business. Secretary resigned, they need to get an assistant secretary. They asked me, I gave him a legal opinion, he stepped up and did it.
Okay. Could you give us that back in writing? That's why it puts this to sleep. Could you put that in writing back to council that the assistant secretary can be a voting member?
If Borough Council asked me to put it in writing, every time you ask me to do things in writing, it costs money. Now, if they want me to do it, I'll do it. It's going to cost me, but I need you want.
Borough Council did just ask.
No, he is one council member.
Well, I would like it in writing as well.
So are you telling me that I can't request nothing? It has to be a vote from council? Or you
You're
didn't
asking for
request?
something extra, and that's an opinion in writing.
Okay.
Council wants
So
to
then
do
you,
it.
that sort of opens up a whole can of worms because whenever Darrell asks you something, you go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
Just like an email that you put back to Gail saying that your aid was insubordination because you had several calls from Darrell Haynes, and now you're acting on Darrell Haynes' behalf, and you're putting out an email.
Oh,
Since
exactly.
I'm asking that, now I can't have it?
I sent a letter of concern.
A letter of harassment to be precise.
All right.
But I also want to know why that didn't take precedence in the March meeting when I volunteered to be secretary under certain conditions, and then that couldn't happen. You couldn't have a meeting then because you didn't have a secretary, but now you can.
Jack, if you want me to.
Let's answer
issue
that.
an opinion, if they make a motion for it, the borough passes it, I'll send it.
What a bunch of crap. That is so wrong.
I'll make a motion out of that to have Solicitor Boucher give us a written
We
opinion
have a
that
motion already on the table.
That's
well, I'm gonna amend the motion.
Senator Jack, this is really not discussion on what the motion was for. This is way off field.
I still
From a
didn't,
motion to amend the agenda to approve the minutes.
I still didn't get all of my questions answered.
They're not relevant to
The relevant question of why Mr. Down's request to be on the agenda or not on the agenda is not relevant to what we're talking about?
Minutes, approving minutes from the September meeting. That's what this is about. He gets done with that.
No, you're talking about amending the
You
agenda.
can raise your thing.
You're talking about amending the agenda, so we're talking about the agenda. So I asked a question about the agenda, which was one, why I wasn't given it, so like, I don't know why we don't have paper copies anymore, where you actually like give a paper copy to someone because email is unreliable. Two, why Mr. Down's request for not put on the agenda when he asked? Since we're talking about amending the agenda, that is appropriate to the
I can't
conversation.
answer that.
Mr. Payne skipped over that question.
You want to interrupt me again? You want me to answer? You want to interrupt me?
No, I want the answer to my question, which you don't have.
I can't give you that answer. I don't make
Mr. Payne can, or
I can't
Mr.
do that.
Haynes can. He did not answer that question. He did not answer why Mr. Downton's request for the agenda were not put on the agenda. He skipped it. He skipped it.
When the agenda was made up Friday afternoon, we were not aware of Mr. Delvin's request.
You're full of crap, Carl.
Full of it.
I sent that out on Saturday. I got the agenda. I sent that to all of you. Every one of you got it. I can contest it. I sent it out Friday, September 30th at 5:35 p.m.
Great.
And you
And the
got
agendas
you got
supposedly were not handed out until 5 o'clock on Sunday, so there was plenty of time to add those things to the
I
agenda.
don't say we have to have everything in advance because, like, remember how you pounded on Gail that you needed the bills to be paid in advance and you needed everything in advance? You wanted 48 hours?
If you want to pursue that, then you can send in a request on the agenda at 5:35 p.m. on a Friday, go ahead.
So what's your timeline then, Mr. President?
Friday noon, so the agenda meeting.
Is
You
that,
never told us.
is that per borough code? Is that in our ordinances, our resolution, our standard procedure for the borough?
If you look in the borough code book, everybody should be noticed 24 hours in advance.
You're gonna
So
find
you were
very-
noticed 24 hours in advance.
You're gonna find very few secretaries around 5:35 p.m. on a Friday night.
But Mr. Payne didn't send it out until he said 5 o'clock on a Sunday, so obviously he had plenty of time.
Keith, did you get it before you did the agenda?
I have nothing further to discuss with this.
Absolutely
No.
Of course he
Let's
does.
move forward. Let's get this high done.
That's all right. We can still go over some of the stuff that I wanted on the agenda.
King Darrell has played.
All right, a motion's on the floor.
And a second. All in favor?
Donald Haynes, Jr., yes. Mark Rowe, yes.
Keith Payne, yes.
Darrell Haynes, yes.
Kristen Potter, no.
Are there any additions or corrections to the September 6th minutes?
Yes. You're not signed or tested by anyone. What would that reason be?
They're not approved yet, and I'll sign and attest once they're approved.
So what happened with the minutes all last year?
I can't speak
Same thing.
for those minutes last year.
We're addressing the ones right now, Jack.
Well,
September 2nd.
they should be signed before we unapprove them. How do we know he signed them? I can see the borough seal not being on them before, but there still should be who wrote the minutes up so we know.
All right, future minutes will have my name on them.
Okay, I make a motion to accept the September 6th minutes.
I second.
All in favor?
Donald Haynes, Jr., yes. Mark Rowe, yes.
Keith Payne, yes.
Darrell Haynes, yes.
Kristen Potter, no.
Jack, no.
Are there any
One
additions?
moment, please.
And there's one other thing on there about those. That you had it on here that pursuant to a contract that was signed 3 or 4 months ago for the project, the road project, for $4,134.
Are we still on the 6 minutes?
Yeah, December 6th, yeah. Very bottom of the first page.
Okay.
I don't recall that contract ever being voted on. I do recall that we were
Yeah, it
voted
says
on
no
to change
vote.
the-
It says no vote was taken at the bottom, right there. says motion, and then no vote was taken. She's talking about the motion of Idaho Homestead National.
No, the very bottom one. Darrell makes a motion to pay $4,134 to the Lake County Redevelopment Authority for the borough's percentage of the grant for the road project on Kellogg Road, Penn Hill Road, and Bucks Road, pursuant to a contract that the borough signed 2 to 3 months ago. And Scott, here where you made motion on that for that contract. I don't ever remember having another contract with that. You had the first original contract, we did the,
I think that was a June meeting at that time, President Gale didn't sign that.
and it was an actual contract
Yes.
that we voted on, the contract, it wasn't what we voted on, wasn't
It was.
that you had authorization to change the specs?
You're talking two different things, it was a contract, with redevelopment for 4134. And President, Reagan signed it at that time.
Could you please give me a copy of that, Mr.
Yes.
President?
Okay, are there any additions or corrections to the September 9th minutes? Okay, I make a motion to accept the September 19th minutes as they are. Second.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Hey, sure, yes. Yes.
Keith Payne, yes.
Darrell Haynes, yes.
Kristen Potter, no.
Jack, no, same thing, no signature on the road committee stuff.
Okay, the treasurer's report.
General account, balance as of 9/27/2022, there was $34,884.69. September withdrawals, Blue Jay, Penelec, Mr. Woods, and Mr. Schwartz totaling $1,951.42. General account balance as of 10/3/22, $32,933.27. Liquid fuels account, balance at 9/27 was $20,836.27. Withdrawals for Thompson Township and Wayne County Redevelopment Authority totaling $7,548.34. Balance as of today, $13,287.93. UCC account, balance at 9/27 was $1,976.80. No withdrawals. Balance same, $1,976.80. Fire fund balance as of 9/27 was $4,420.70. Balance as of 10/3 is the same, $4,420.70. There are 3 checks awaiting deposit. One from the Register of Wills for $1,911, and 2 checks from Mr. Potter. One fire fund is $178.31. The other is for the general account fund of $929.72. Accounts were switched over last week. I went to make the deposit this morning, and there were still issues ironing out the details for the 4 accounts from the Homestead National Bank. The gentleman who's in charge of the accounts I was not able to get a hold of today. So rather than just dumping the money in without knowing the right account numbers, etc., I just chose to hold off until we can get that sorted.
Keith, could you give me the amount for the fire?
The fire check
Yeah.
is $178.31, and the one going into general is $929.72.
What is the date on those checks from the tax collector?
Okay, the date on those checks are August 5th, and I received them September 19th.
where were they in all that time?
I got them from Mr. Woods.
Who I believe has something to say.
Okay.
The $34,884.69 in the general fund, that includes the $8,700 from the COVID money?
Yeah, I believe so.
And so it was a decision of the council not to open up a separate account to that, to keep track of that better.
Correct.
Okay.
I do believe whenever we get any money that isn't our tax money, we're supposed to have a separate account. We've already been around and around with this one before, with FEMA money and everything else. You guys should have been aware of that. Any reason we're not gonna open up another special account for that COVID money?
I'm not aware if we have to.
I'll make a motion to approve the treasurer's report as read.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Donald Haynes, Jr., yes. Kirk Graham, yes.
Keith Payne, yes.
Darrell Haynes, yes.
Kristen Potter, no.
Yeah, no. Could you check that out, see if we gotta have that last 8,600 change that went in, we should have that in a separate account? Because the first 8,600, you just squashed it all together, we don't know where that money was really spent, do we?
I don't believe you have to. I think you need to have an accounting, make sure you know where the money went. What it's spent on. It can only be spent on certain things.
Well, we don't know
It
where
has to go in a specified account.
We don't
Is
know
your
where the first
review all?
money went, so.
FEMA required it when you're getting extra money. I thought the general account was just for your general monies to come in.
I think we need to go by the word.
It would only make sense to separate it up so we know what we got.
Well, certainly it can be helpful to do that. I don't disagree.
Money won't continuously fall through the cracks on the road.
This is for everyone.
Okay, bills to be paid.
Sorry.
Are we gonna go through one at a time and make a motion on each bill?
Let me look at that.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Go ahead and, list them all.
All right. Okay, first is the PA Office of Unemployment Compensation Tax Services, $16.50. Mr. Donald Potter, $36.83. Boucher Fisher, $930. Pass that down, that's his invoice. Chris Miller, $240. Penelec, $87.35. Tri-County Independent, $51.70. And DGK Insurance. General Comp, the fourth of 4 installments, $87.50. Business Auto, again, all these are the final installments for this year. Business Auto, $125. Workers' Comp, $90.75. And Fire Building Contents, $87.50.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion.
I want him to repeat that first one that was like unemployment or something like that.
Yeah, I'll let you.
Unemployment compensation tax.
Okay, everybody got an email from me because I got a call from a fellow from the unemployment department where the unemployment hasn't been paid since 2018. And it was paid under Patty Smith's name when she was fired. That's all stated out into an email to everybody. So I've got a little concerns that somebody in 2018 was still using Patty Smith's name on an account when she hadn't been the secretary, treasurer secretary since 2016. I think that's quite concerning on who did that.
And I would like to know why that amount is not on our bills to be paid, because as long as we don't pay it, it just keeps accruing more and more interest.
So
We already owe them $1,771.93.
let me finish it up. I'll go through that. So I ended up sending an email to all the council members and Ron, and And then I got his email, so I sent him an email. He did send an email back saying that the borough was in since 2018 for 1,700 and change that we owed. So, when you come up with $16.50, was that something, how did you come up with that amount? And who dealt with this fellow? Was it Keith or Darrell?
I called him, and he said at this time to send in the $16.50 that was due, and then to complete the quarters up to the third quarter of 22, and at the next meeting submit that amount.
So what is this $16 covering? Which quarter, what year?
All quarters.
That covers all quarters up to the third quarter of 21.
How could that be? You got
They,
1,700.
those quarters were filed, they were just never paid. The quarters that have not been filed is the fourth quarter of 2021, the first quarter of 2022, the second quarter of 2022, and the third quarter is coming up. So again, the $16.50 is just for the amount the borough owes for those quarters that were completed but not paid.
And what were those quarters you said was completed?
You have all the documentation, you forwarded it to me.
They were completed through the third quarter.
That was just his email back. And he didn't have that on there, I don't believe.
Yes, hit.
Don't have that email with me right now.
Again, it's the quarters, the second quarter of 2018,
It's all quarters from 18 through to the third quarter of 21.
21.
Well, according to Mr. Krieger's email, it says assessments were made in April of 2022 by the Bureau. For all quarters of the second of 2018 through the third of 2021, there are currently 3 additional reports, fourth of 2021 through second of 22,
Correct.
which have been filed. The current amount due for all that time from 2018 is $1,700. So I don't know where you're getting the $1,650 from.
The 1650.
It's not all those quarters.
Yes, it is. The 1650 is the actual unemployment
Withholding.
compensation. Withholding.
Darrell, well, who has
For
the,
4
does
years.
anybody have the paperwork stating what we got there? That we owe?
Yeah,
That
We
amount
should
is
have
16.
forwarded it to you because he sent it and everybody's attachment was on it, his response.
I'm reading,
No,
I just read
I
this.
got his first response, and
Okay,
he just said we owed the 18 to 1,700, but I got nothing else from him.
okay.
Can we see that information?
You want to break it down individually? Bill.
So,
Then again, Ron, the issue of someone using Patty Smith's name and doing the filing here. That's something we should check out, see who actually did it. I mean,
Certainly, that's.
I mean, somebody used the name.
Jack, all the audits and other issues regarding finances of the borough, that really needs to be checked out.
we should also wonder why the treasurer that they paid to complete all year-end reports said they completed them when obviously they didn't, but was paid for that job. So that is correct, because every time you're talking on $125 late filing fee.
So is this something you try to get waived, Darrell, the $125?
I talked to Dan, the one that emailed you, he left his telephone number, and his instruction were to make a payment of $16.50. That would bring the unemployment compensation tax through to the third quarter of 21. He said file the other quarters up through 9/30 of 22, and then submit that amount.
Filing fees, but that doesn't mean we still don't have to pay those.
So could you get something for council that would be willing to waive the other?
It's a step-by-step process, it seems. So first step is to pay the $16.50 and then we see where we're at.
Then we gotta pay the next 4 quarters,
Thank you.
and then go from there.
You have that in writing, the 1650, or you just making this up?
Well, he's got a whole sheet here of what was actually due each quarter on
No,
the
I'm talking about the
unemployment.
1650, you have that in writing from this gentleman? Or are you just pulling that out of the air and say, we're paying 1650, and we're gonna believe your word?
Well, actually, that was, yeah, so you
You
have a
have it in
document
writing?
where he states this?
It's
The 1650
It's what the gentleman told me.
over the phone,
Can
only
we
you,
get
and
that
only
in
you know.
writing from him? That's all he
And
wants,
yet you owe
is to say that in that
$1,700.
letter?
Something seems awful fishy. Why don't you just pay him out of that COVID money? Get it done with it.
The question is not the amount, the question is, do we have verification that the gentleman said that? Not the amount, nobody's questioning the amount.
I didn't make this up.
What proof?
Well, we would like that in writing, that that's what he said.
Right,
No,
right.
that he said to only
Right.
pay that for right now.
So is that
That
something,
only
Okay.
says what the amount
Okay,
is.
is that something he sent you, or must you have you?
again, I'll make my motion
Mr. Dutt would like to see that again.
to pay out the general fund.
One moment. Okay.
I'll second that.
Hang on, I'm not done. $16.50 to the PA Office of Unemployment Compensation Tax. $36.83 to Donald Potter. $930 to Blue Jay Fisher. $87.35 to Penelec. $51.70 to Tri-County Independent. $87.50. $125. $90.75. And $87.50 to DKG Insurance.
So is it my understanding that now Western National Bank takes care of paying these bills?
Correct.
And in regards to the payment to the tax collector, they take out all the appropriate withholdings? And will it furnish a W-2?
I will include when I send copies of the invoices down, I created one that has all the withholdings shown to make it easier, kind of like what I did back in 16 and 17. So they'll have all those withholdings.
And the bank is also responsible for furnishing a W-2 since they now take control of all our bills?
That's what they indicated yesterday. But for now.
They're asking to do this electronically. So that brings up the question, I sent everybody an email that I had everybody's email address except for Don's. And then Alice sent me back an email, said that wasn't Kirk's email. Well, in the past, Kirk has used the email coach from
Send me my email, Jack.
You just,
Did she
hold on
send me
there.
my email? That's all I want to know.
Yes, I did.
Okay,
So let me explain.
good enough.
So I sent an email anyway, so Alice sent back an email saying that this wasn't Kirk's email, that she didn't want no more emails from her. So I apologize to give her an inconvenience, and if she would pass on Kirk's email, or if he was deciding not to have an email. So we had to get the space for doing emails here with the borough. So Alice did put back today that saying that it should be back with the borough secretary file, as is. So whatever that means.
Is there a
So,
second on that motion?
Second that motion.
My question is, the email, Kirk, do you have an email, or do you choose not to use an email? I think everybody has the rights to know this. So we
Did
move
she
forward.
send you my email?
No,
You said yes.
she sent you, I thought you said that she sent you your meaning the email I sent you, that return email saying it's
Ron
mine.
Kirk at yahoo.com.
I didn't see that on there.
Well, I'm telling you what it is.
Okay,
All small letters.
all small letters as well.
Ron Kirk at yahoo.com.
Yes.
In the list of bills, what was the $240?
Chris Miller for Stefan Road.
Thank you.
Thank you for that, Kirk.
You're welcome,
Yes.
Jack.
Can I have that?
Yeah,
If you
and
want a copy,
so
I'll send you a copy.
what I'm asking is, well, that's going back electronically. What is the email address that you're using on behalf of the borough? Is it a Gmail account or your own account?
I haven't opened up the borough account. I've been sending all documentation to the borough account, but I have not accessed it.
Roll call vote.
But my question is, by filing that action electronically, will you do it through the Gmail account? Or are you gonna do it through your account?
No, electronically, it's like its own website you go on. So when you file it directly to them and print out a copy once you're completed with that particular quarter. So it doesn't involve my email account, it's all on the website. You're talking about the unemployment compensation?
Yeah, so if someone went on a year from now, could they go on to the Gmail account and be there?
No, what I had attempted to try to do is use an old password that I had, but it wouldn't give me access to it. So it has been changed. I have to contact them to try to.
So would it be the best thing for us to just get the Gmail account and do everything through Starrucca Borough Gmail account? That way anybody can go back and it's all right there.
Again,
This is what happened, I think,
again,
with
this
Laura
has
Kennedy.
nothing to do with the Gmail account. This has everything to do with the unemployment compensations website. You do all the filing via that way.
Okay. So if somebody went on their Gmail account, they would never know that. That's secondary.
We just vote to pay the bills out of general fund. Keith,
Yes.
Darrell Haynes, yes.
Kristen Carter, no?
Yeah, no.
Okay,
One moment.
I have a question, since we're talking about email. Do all the council members get their agendas via email?
you want a written copy of the.
I will hand deliver yours.
Oh, thank you. To me personally,
Yes, ma'am.
not,
do you have
it's
an
not
issue with
stuck in
me
my
emailing?
door.
No, you can email.
All right, thank you. Yes, I will hand deliver yours personally next time.
Okay, you make a motion to pay Chris Miller $240 out of the liquid fuels or state account. Do I hear a second?
I second it.
Not that Chris Miller should get paid for the work he did. He did do the work up on this bond. He did a good job of what he did up there. But how did we come up with 400.6 tons of modified? Where did that get weighed out?
I can't answer you.
I'll let you see a copy of it.
So it comes back to just more or less, we have Ficus delivered and modified down there, and then whatever he needs, he takes out.
Motion to pay Chris Miller out of the liquid
He's
fuels
got
account.
4.6 ton and it's, some, I guess, 13, 14 ton.
I was just wondering how you get that precise 4.6
Okay.
ton,
I can ask Chris and get back to you.
like everything else probably.
Yeah, you never find out.
Okay. Did you want to second that motion?
Okay. All in favor?
Yep. No waste of money.
Yes.
Keith Payne, yes.
Darrell Haynes, yes.
So there's no waste left with this?
No.
And Kristen Carter, no?
Jack, no.
Okay, correspondence.
No.
Okay, old business. The status of the 2021 audit.
Do we have any auditors left?
No, the big thing with the audit is they don't have no signed minutes, like we had said, so
True.
how are they gonna keep finishing moving forward?
Okay,
They don't want to be audited. That's why they got out of that other thing with the borough, so nobody can look at their records. That's why they went through home to that's just right. So his name's not in anything.
okay, any update on Farrell Basil's lawsuit, Ron?
Yeah, they filed an amended complaint. They filed the preliminary objections. Preliminary objections are a separate argument in November of this year. So approximately a month from now, 5 weeks, the court will hear the preliminary objections and then likely the judge will make a determination on those preliminary objections.
Do you know the date on that by chance?
It's the, I think I sent it to everybody, I think it is, what's the first Wednesday in November?
Look on your phone.
I believe the second.
Now, it's probably the 9th, I think it's November 9th.
You say it's the first Wednesday and it's the 9th?
No, second, we did it first, we have to be second. I think I.
That is the
remember
9th.
saying it was the 9th.
No, you said you sent everything to that, I never got nothing on it.
So I say, I send it out likely to the secretary.
I'm gonna ask you again, like, for what you responded back to them on the objections, I never got a copy of that.
Jack, I'll include you.
I want
Shouldn't you?
any and all documents that come in to you, but I have required this, or asked this before, I would like all and any documents that come in.
I'll send it to you.
But I think all
May I
council
have a
members
copy
should
of it also? All copy?
You ask for a copy, I'll send you a copy.
be. Same way with Keith and Darrell, anything that comes into the borough, I'm requesting to be CC'd or copied on any and all paperwork. I think it's only fair for all council members to do it.
Okay, the bank account shows that on September 9th, there was a deposit on $8,662.51 on the recovery money from the federal government, and on September 21st, there was another deposit of $1,289.67.
1,200, what was it?
$1,289.67.
And what was that for? Same thing, that code?
Yes.
That was like a third payment then.
I believe there were leftover funds from people that didn't claim it, and they did mention that that was going to be distributed.
$8,662.51. And that was on September 9th. And the $1,289 was on September 21st. Sort of odd to be on our thing still. We've got the mailing label, Starrucca Borough, general account, e-statement, demitravis21@gmail.com. Still playing with her account. So did she actually get this sent to her probably? So the Travises are still involved?
Sounds like.
Any comment? All right.
Whenever the new secretary treasurer took office, did they change the names of the banks with the signatures? That was the bank statements from Wayne Bank. So was that done, is the question.
Pretty sure Charlie set that up.
Okay, well, I'm just going by what's on the bank statement.
Did you have that addressed?
That's a new bank.
Correct.
This is all main bank. It's new.
So he didn't set up the account, so how do you have a new bank? So he still has to set up the account. Because there was issues.
What was your question?
But she said it was a new bank, and I was a new bank, and you say it couldn't set them up. Because
I
there was
said
issue
the
with
money was
account.
transferred last week. The accounts, the 4 accounts in question, I don't believe had been set up by the Homesdale National Bank.
So it's all in one, just one big account.
I'm not sure. Again, I was unable to speak to the guy handling the
So you
accounts.
did it anyway.
No, so I did not deposit any of the money until I realized what's going on.
But the money was transferred without
You just said it was
the accounts
Oh,
being set up.
okay. I was thinking of something else. I'll correct myself. Yes, the money was transferred last week. It is now in the Homesdale National
But
Bank.
just in one account.
I'm not quite sure.
There was,
Again, I haven't been able to speak to the guy in charge of the
there
accounts.
was 4 separate checks cut by Wayne Bank, so each account has a dollar amount that was in that account.
But we don't know where it went to at Hillsdale.
They had an account set up for Starrucca Borough.
Do they have 4 accounts? Because you can't have all that money together, that's illegal.
We realize that.
But you
So you
transferred
gave
it
them, right, you gave them 4 checks without verifying that there were 4 separate accounts set up at Hillsdale. And they put it all in one account.
I cannot verify that for you. Until I can talk to the gentleman back over, I cannot answer your
Do
question.
whatever you want. Legal or not, nobody cares.
Okay, road reports.
I think you'd have to back up to skip over correspondence.
Did you bring any?
whispered there was none.
There was nothing in the mailbox with regard to correspondence.
What about like this email that Gail Redden sent?
When was it
September
sent?
6th.
September 6th?
Yes.
Sent to whom?
StarruccaBoroughCouncil@gmail.com.
Okay. Well, you can read it.
As of December 6, 2022, I resign my position as Starrucca Borough Council President. The lack of respect shown to the office and the lack of cooperation from Darrell Haynes, EPAL, decisions made without the full acknowledgement of council members and the mayor and the public, obfuscation, the facts of lack of transparency, and the lack of due diligence for the concerns and the benefits of the entire community. So now, in the heat of the moment, we ended up, and motion was made, and I definitely wasn't one that understood the motion. Because of the heat of the moment, everybody, and it ended up that Gail had resigned president, and that's what she stood up and said, that she was resigning as president, but not her position. And then the motion went out. Krista made a motion. I thought the motion was only for presidency. So that's how it all ended up. But she did not have no written resignation in there. So how do we end up taking the resignation without a written resignation?
That's the beginning.
It does, actually.
Yeah, it does.
We talked to Sherry how to.
So if that was, if it didn't have to be in writing,
It's a good way to create the problem.
if I had the quorum, I could pick off one by one of the council members I didn't want on. So yeah, you could.
Yeah.
So you gotta have it in writing. So my big thing is there was a big miscommunication. You know it went up in a flare. We all was there at the meeting. We know it went up in a flare. So if we either got an empty council seat or can Gail be reinstated back on council?
The minutes were already accepted. The motion was to accept her resignation as president and as council person, and I think it was Kristen Potter that made the motion.
It was
Seconded,
in the heat of the
and I
moment.
think you seconded.
It's a moot point,
Yeah,
she
yeah.
coming back.
Voted
It's
on.
not coming back.
It was
So you
voted
went
on
to
and
the-
approved, and now the minutes were approved. It's over.
He's not gonna come back.
Unless the motion was rescinded, just like the SAM program was rescinded.
They screwed up.
Dave. I talked to Bob Ryder Saturday morning. He mentioned it to me about the post office box was not paid for. So he paid for it out of his money because there was a lot of money. There is a lot of
Actually, Dave, I paid him, it's done.
It was in my last
Okay.
submission.
I just talked, Bob told me about it Saturday morning. He said there was mail there. He said stack mail.
Okay.
Yeah, he's asked me a
So I
couple
maybe
times.
Keith got there before.
Yeah, I got there, I picked it up this morning.
Okay, good.
Well, I'd just like to say that what you four and Mr. Boucher, what you put Gail through was just a total disaster for her. She tried and an
Right.
email to come back and the back undermining that you four did, you should be ashamed of
And was
yourself.
harassed and threatened by the
She was here to do the right
solicitor,
Okay,
was lied to by
Let's get on to
council
business.
members.
Everybody knows.
Right, she was intimidated by the borough solicitor.
Okay.
You know that, there's proof it.
Which is funny, because he's so tiny.
He is a little man, that's true.
the
The whole man.
road reports, Thompson completed the road work on them, and Bill Pike has completed the grants. And I I'd like to make a motion to purchase brackets to install, the road signs on the post.
What road signs, for what roads?
I believe, Fox, Kellogg, Carpenter, Penn Hill. Maybe I can check and see if any of the ones here. It's a bracket that will hold 2 road signs to a post.
So you want some vote on it, but you don't know how many we need and which
Okay.
roads all need.
I'll make a motion to purchase up to 6.
I'll second the
Is
motion.
there a cost on that?
Where would we get these brackets from, Carl?
Bond and
What exactly,
what's that? Jason?
what exactly are you looking for?
There's a bracket that you can hold 2 road signs. And it passes onto the post.
Why do we need 2?
When you're coming to an intersection, you get a road you're coming off of and a road you're coming onto.
How much?
So we're gonna take care of the state roads? We're gonna sign the state roads, is what you're saying?
There's absolutely no reason 2 signs should be together. If you're coming off one road, your sign's gonna be on your driving side.
Mhm.
If you're coming off this road, it's on your driving side. So there's absolutely no reason for the signpost to have 2 signs on one post.
It does identify if you want one day to do it.
But my question is, why would we be signing, we don't have no 2 roads that lock together, do we?
Penn Hill, Carpenter.
Well, Harbor Road, technically it's not our
I'll
road.
tell you what,
Well, I think
that's
it's
the only
a-
road that would need 2 signs. I'll give you a sign
Okay,
post.
I withdraw my motion.
And do we have the signs?
Yes,
I'll block.
signs and post.
When was that?
Yeah, what do you get?
How much?
2 or 3 years ago.
Have we had those signs for the last couple of years?
Yes,
And you made the civic association just buy those and put it
I
up
was
on
on
the
the
Keith Hill Road?
council, never brought my attention.
You already had the signs?
You're
we didn't have that type, no. These are different.
You have a new style.
They're road signs, so the name of the road.
Okay, Harborwitz Law Firm, status.
I had some out on the road. You were to check into Penn Hill, why that was never finished.
What's that?
You were to check into why Penn Hill was never finished.
The specs called, and I believe Christian read that at the September 6th meeting for plus or minus. And this is right.
I believe it was read that it goes to the hard road.
What's that?
I believe it was read in the application that it goes to the hard road.
Okay, the specs called for 2,000 feet plus or minus.
Yep, where did you start the specs at? The hard road up to where the project, the other project ended, just where the lower sluice is. Remember,
Not that I'm aware of.
well, I am, that's what I'm telling you.
Okay,
So, the, conservation come down below Norm's driveway up there.
correct.
Same driveway that you put the quarry permit, and give a driveway permit number at that road instead of going up to the quarry. But, so the sluice down below was supposed to be cleaned out, but you went back and even though the contractor got paid for it, we went back and asked for more money from the conservation district, and you were awarded, I think it was like $5,100 or $5,200 to put a new sluice in. So you put another new sluice in down below, so why would you overlap it? If you want the full footage that you're supposed to get, that means you would have overlapped what we already did in 2018 on the conservation project. So what would be the reason of that and not finishing the bottom 75 feet? Outside of you awarding
I'm not aware it was overlapped.
that resident's pavement job.
I'm not aware of it being overlapped with the conservation project.
Well, then we need to get our footage out then.
If you read the specs, I believe it said 2,000 feet plus or minus.
Well, plus or minus.
It was
That's why
twice.
it's
So why didn't you go the extra 75 feet plus it?
That's as far as it went.
Seems to me it's just going to be,
You just specified yourself, plus or minus. Like, he wouldn't go the extra, but he was short, is what you're getting.
That's as far as,
So it's not a plus or minus.
that's as far as the project went. Carpwood's
It's all from the
law
hard road.
firm, the status of any and all communications. From the information we got from Ray Woods, there was no contract, there was no fee agreement that was involved between the Carpwood's law firm and Starrucca Borough.
You mean you got from the secretary? I was acting as secretary.
Correct.
Thank you.
So my question to you, Ron, what's the best way to handle that without any known contract or known fee agreement?
now the fee agreement I know is there because we had it at the table at the January 6th meeting. Because it was sent to me, and the agreement, I could get to the fee agreement. Because I know the fee agreement went back to
Sign
Starrucca.
the agreement, I mean, that is really the contract. You need to sign the agreement. Without that, there's no obligation under any circumstances to pay that amount.
What was that again, Ron?
You need to sign the agreement between the borough and the law firm. It has to be a legitimate one. There's no signed fee agreement, no contract, then there is no obligation to pay Carpenter's law.
I know the fee agreement was there and voted on at the January 6th meeting.
Well, apparently, from what I hear, it wasn't in any of the borough records. That's what I hear.
And the only thing we got, when I contacted the Carpwood's law firm, was a letter of interest, but there was no fee agreement. And there was no bill sent.
Well, the letter of interest had the fee in it. They were done to it for $100 now.
There was a letter of interest, but that was it.
Well, that was the fee agreement.
That's not a fee agreement.
Well, that's what was voted on. We could go back and look at the tape and see what the vote was on.
Best thing would be likely to have me reach out to the Carpenter's law firm and get this resolved once and for all.
And there was no bill this month from the Carpwood's.
How many bills have you paid that you have not had a bill at this table and you have still voted to pay? So stop with the vote with the bills.
Or contract,
So,
I know, right?
or contracts.
Well,
Like when you had Chris Miller do work on roads.
Ron, why don't you go ahead and do that? Contact them, see how we can get this taken care of, because
Okay, I'll make a
this
motion.
is not gonna go up and just blow away. I mean, they did service for us, we should be paying them.
They're the ones that say no, they won't vote on it.
I'll make a motion to have Ron Mujay contact the Carpwood's law firm to address the bills been sent to Starrucca Borough and any other correspondence that's needed.
Address.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
One moment.
Hang on.
Motion to have Ron contact Carpenter's law to address.
The bill sent to Starrucca Borough and any other correspondence that is necessary.
Yeah, right.
so if you're not checking the borough email,
Yes.
then how do you know they haven't sent a bill this month?
Oh, that's how they forwarded it via email, not.
We used to get them by email. I used to
Okay.
print them out.
All right. Well, I was hoping to have this, this position for a very limited amount of time, but I may have to look into that.
Well,
Are we trying to get a secretary or we don't want?
Oh, that's on the agenda.
All right, so, Darrell made a motion to have Ron contact Carpenter's law to address the bill sent to Starrucca and any other correspondence necessary. Do you still want to second that?
Say that again, Scott, that you was talking about, or not Ron, Keith.
Darrell made a motion to have Ron contact Carpenter's law to address bills sent to Starrucca and any other correspondence necessary. If you don't, I will.
Yeah, I'll second that.
Okay?
All in favor?
Tom Hayes Jr., yes.
yes.
Keith Payne, yes.
Earl Haynes, yes.
Kristen Fire, yes.
Yeah, yes. Ron, could I be copied on it? We'll be back and forth.
I'll copy the agenda.
If you copy this, well,
I'll copy the council.
state business. Is there anything from the auditors where Ray Woods and Charlie Igrace resigned as secretaries in 2022? It's my understanding the code book says that anytime a secretary resigns, there should be an audit.
There's also supposed to be an audit when the council members resigned. There was never an audit with Mr. Kirk Rowe, he resigned, fake resigned to be put back on or whatever.
Because he voted off.
Oh, that's right.
So are you saying that Charlie and Ray and Laura and Debbie were gonna do an audit?
Didn't say that, I just said one.
Well, why would you pick and choose? It
Yeah.
seems like you're attacking someone.
Right. Marianne Balco should have been audited.
Yeah, Marianne
She
DeBalca
resigned.
should have been audited, Kirk Rohn should have been audited.
I mean, and then again, who's gonna do the audit, Laura? Like, who do you hire to do an audit like this?
How do you do it without minutes?
Aren't there still two auditors or?
Additionally, may I ask a question, please, since my name is on the agenda? Is the audit for the secretary or is it for the treasurer?
This for the records of structure, not the person himself, but the records
You better do Debbie,
of
buddy.
the time that
And you're
you're
not
there.
gonna audit them
Okay.
before you know you're
Great,
not getting
Great,
them.
great. Let's audit Laura and Demi too then.
Absolutely.
Right.
Or I will sue you.
Hire a different lawyer to do it.
I'll second that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'll second that one.
There's auditors that do the 21 audit.
Yeah, so the 21 audit couldn't be done because the files are in such a terrible state. That's why I took 2,600 photos of the state of the files. That's why the 22 budget is still missing. That's why the 21 budget was submitted by Keith for the Coxton Lake application. So let's do an audit.
Yeah, do it.
Let's do it.
Let's do the audit. Do the audit.
Okay.
Hire a real lawyer to do it.
Okay.
Have that, those issues addressed.
I'll make a motion that Keith's contact or send a letter to the auditors.
Okay, yeah.
And if the auditors find us missing information, they should put that in their audit.
So now,
They don't think something.
we need to back up, because the auditors we have are auditing in 2021, right? So Keith and Charlie's in 2022, so what are you even talking about here? Outside of attacking our ex-secretary and treasurer, that's all this is, an attack.
I don't think
That's
it's
by you, because
Then why are we doing it for Lori then?
requirement.
I think it's.
We haven't even got into 22 audit yet, Rob.
Please, please. I think it's a requirement when somebody resigns this position like that there is an audit on what they had. Not to suggest there's anything wrong by what Ray did or what Charlie did, but there should be some kind of an audit done. I believe it's required. As to the prior secretaries, certainly that should have been done, but I didn't hear anything like that since I was here in 2000.
So when we had council members, as
Well,
well.
I'm sure it brought it up in council.
Because it's all,
It was brought up.
just like you are.
Excuse me.
Yeah, right.
It's better if people talk one at a time. So I guess my question is that Demi resigned in October of 2021. So she should have been audited as part of this. There was no call by the council members in November or December, and there were 4 chances, and you were vice president at the time, Mr. Haynes.
Okay, well, the ones that are audited now, we go ahead and audit them through the time she resigned.
Great.
They
So-
should be
so-
the same
so-
as everybody else.
I'm happy to be audited. I want to be treated fairly and with an even hand. And the fact that Laura and Demi Travis have hidden from answering questions, have not provided information or answers, that is, and repeatedly ignored the borough code.
By you.
Okay.
Well, I think.
And the solicitor, Mr. Bouget, I appreciate the letters you sent. You copied and pasted what I asked for, but then you show up and ambush Charlie with a letter from Laura about the filings. Now, if you remember, the letter I sent back in February that you copied and pasted from asked for all the open and current filings. I never got that.
Ray, I didn't ambush you.
Okay. I apologize for the characterization.
Well, I think we even gotta go another step farther, because you've got this where you wanna audit, and now you're trying to put the 2021 auditors in to do more. We know we've already got a problem with the auditors because of Ron's letter back to Mrs. Bates also. Now, we've got a real issue going on here with the auditors. So now, you guys wanna come up and you wanna start doing audits on people. Well, how about if the 2021 auditors audits Keith and you for doing the minutes back in November and December? That, guess what? We don't have them. They're mysteriously missing.
What's missing?
The November and December minutes you never got. The 2021 budget.
There's Carmen's Basil's lawsuit. There's a copy of right in her lawsuit.
Yeah, because you guys gave them to Ron, but nobody else knew nothing about it. That was in the actual lawsuit for the February lawsuit.
You had to know.
But they're not signed. Nobody knew nothing about the minutes. Except for you guys come up with them after the fact.
They're in two different lawsuits.
Yeah, but they were not.
But who did them? Keith testified under oath
Okay.
that he don't know who did them, but yet he read them and he said at a council meeting that he wrote them up.
Okay.
Perjury.
To have the auditors, the present auditors, do an audit through the time that Debbie resigned to the end of the year of 21.
What?
Resign.
That doesn't even make any sense.
Will the
Doesn't
solicitor
make
resist
sense.
any further concern to the president of the council over this?
And to the end of 21.
Lie down.
Yes.
And in 22, to the time when Secretary Ray Woods resigned.
Assistant Secretary.
And Charlie Iris.
Yeah.
And Assistant Secretary Ray Woods again.
Can't you ask them also to leave me a status report on what's going on with the 2021 audit? Probably should go find out what's going on with that.
They
And,
can't
and,
do
and,
it.
and actually, I am curious about this, right? So, the 21 audit is in progress, and I guess everyone who resigns during that year should be audited, including Kurt and Mary Ann Tabalco,
Correct.
right? And
Look at
then,
the notebook right here.
my terms and Charlie's terms, and whoever else is going to be secretary and resign, would be during the 22 audit. Now, is that not, am I not understanding?
You're right.
Right, because my work was done during 22, so when we're doing the 22 audit, I would be open for an audit.
Right.
I mean, is that not true?
The books.
They can't wait to punish you until next year. They want to try to get after you now.
Nobody's suggesting punishing anybody. I think when someone resigns, an audit is generally appropriate.
It's intimidation.
Right, it's just more intimidation like the hired gun in the corner.
When someone resigns or their term of office expires, they're supposed to be audited as well. So we should have Mr. Kirk run in that audit.
All you're doing is balancing the books.
I never had access to the bank account.
But
I never had signing authority
Okay,
because of you.
Or records.
but that's all you're doing is balancing the books.
I never touched the money.
Okay, then you ought to be easy.
It will be easy. It will be easy. But my understanding from Mr. Boucher was that it was not just the Treasury, it was the borough records. Right? Isn't that what you said, Mr. Boucher?
It's the borough.
Correct. So you're wrong again, Darrell.
Right. This would probably be good for you because it will show that whatever you had, you turned home.
Oh yeah, I know.
Nobody's suggesting you did anything wrong.
Why did I take all those photos, Ron?
Ron, you can't audit this year's what's going on. Come on, you know that better than that. We're talking 2021. What they're going after Ray and Charlie is 22.
They're not going after anything.
Yes, they are. Why would you even bring it up when you didn't do it to anybody back?
You know, let's just
Because there's blood.
skip to the cracks.
It's actually so complicated.
This is deja vu all over again.
And then send the
If
letter,
Darrell and the
ask
boys-
for an update of the
Don't be
You
ignorant.
can go after somebody if they want to just make it.
Why are we not auditing Mary Ann DeMacco and her brother?
In 2021.
It's my understanding, that you audit the secretary treasurer.
No, actually,
Audit reports to the council upon the accounts of every officer of the borough upon the death, resignation, removal, or expiration of their term of the officer.
There you go, actual legal, and not
Expiration
some.
of term, Mary Ann resigned,
Solicitor.
borough code book. Would
Ron
you like to
Fox.
read it? And keep it handy, just for
So what they are.
This is nothing more than another ploy to just get the auditors frustrated so they can't do the work.
They are.
So it's the same way that you folks, if you just look at the past, you attack the secretaries, you attack the treasurers, you attack, they're not in your little squad, you just attack. That's all it comes down to.
I think
Yeah,
we should be a letter of
and-
concern
you know,
from the solicitor about this bill. All four of us, especially Ron.
If it's for everybody.
In case you didn't hear, Keith just asked Darrell if he wanted to include anyone else, so it's for everybody, and Mr. Haynes said not at this time.
great.
So
You know what?
Go very.
Go ahead and single out employees for public review.
You're being
Great.
exposed.
That's
boy.
perfect. Just go right ahead.
Resignations during the period
You're being exposed.
Right, do it legal for once.
if you want. You can write it out.
Do you guys want to work on it and maybe bring it up next meeting?
No, that
We
was
got a few more months in.
Resignations and
I'm sorry, what?
expiration of term
That
of
we can do, I'll
office.
withdraw my motion.
Thank you.
about time.
So now nobody will get audited. That's a CYA right there.
I will make a motion to have Keith Baines send a letter to the,
Well, for the church would be something.
to, find out the status of the 21 audit, where they are with it.
What was that motion, Darrell?
One moment.
To have Keith Baines send a letter to the auditors to find out, what the status of the 21 audit is. And request a response within 10 days.
The second,
All like any discussion?
so Darrell made a motion to send a letter to the auditors to find out the status of the 2021 audit and have a response within 10 days.
Yes. Probably not sure here.
Keith Payne, yes.
Darrell Haynes, yes.
Mr. Potter, no.
Jack, no. Stop what you've been doing. You know why the auditors are stalled, it's because they don't have the minutes.
Or records.
But we're not honoring our past secretary by the law where it says they must be within the design. So you're not going to do that now. You consider your motion.
You gotta protect
So
them.
they're not going to be audited, the past ones from 2021?
That motion was withdrawn.
Right, that's why I'm asking you right now. So if the law says you're supposed to do that, and you're just going to flout the law as usual and not do that?
Run with run.
No comment, right? Where's our solicitor on that one?
Okay.
He's doodling.
Okay, as long as we brought up, just might bring it up now, get down to there. So
There we go.
the,
Now we're wrong.
brought up about, or as long as it was brought up, I brought up about the minute book. So in Laura's letter, June of 2020, June 18th, 2020, that she put back, and she's got here that as far as the borough, or as far as the bound book for the minutes, there was not one provided to us. Now, Laura's talking for her and Demi being the secretary treasurer. There was not one provided to us, nor was there direction by council to purchase one. So let's go back and if you review back in 2017, Keith, in November 2017, you're in the minutes saying that
We've
You
been
received
over
the
this at
borough
least
bound book.
twice. I've answered questions at least
would
twice.
you please let me
with
finish?
regard to this.
so the big question on the bound book that's missing. So Keith, you were in 2000 and, November 2017.
2017, correct.
All right, November 2017, you said you received the bound book and you're waiting for a bill on it. And then it ended up that the auditors, that you ended up, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you ended up giving the bound book with the minutes in to the auditors.
Whatever I had in my possession that the auditors, I gave, like I said, either the records were given all to the auditors, or the records that weren't given to the auditors that they did need for their audit was given to Laura, I think, or Demi at the time, whoever replaced me as secretary.
So we know that you did the bound book and you got your minutes in there. See, I'm sort of helping you out, so you know that.
I don't need your help, Jack. Thank you.
But we do have a 2017 auditor here, which is,
We did get a bound book when we did the 17 audit,
Okay.
and we returned it back at the meeting that we gave our report to the council.
I can't speak to any of that. I wasn't around.
I had, we had it, we gave it back in the, one of the boxes.
I'm sure it's on.
so this missing bound book was either in the hands of council, with Kirk was president, or the Travises. So Keith, I just got you a get out of jail card tonight.
You didn't, okay, thank you, Jack.
Well, there's a missing bound book. Where is it? Where's the 2017 minutes?
Where's the?
Somebody's got the minutes missing.
The North Bend.
I mean, this is why we can't get audits done. Then you go ahead and Laura did the audit. So that's the other thing, with Laura doing the audit, now there's a lot of questions about that. Now, when you go into, well, I guess I'll wait and see what else we have on the agenda here when we get to it.
Okay,
And I'd like to address something else.
new business, I make a motion effectively as of today's date to no longer meet at 316 Starrucca Creek Road. Is there a second on that?
Okay, motion.
I made a motion effectively today's date of October 3rd to no longer meet at 316 Starrucca Creek Road.
I'll second it.
So I have a couple of questions. So are we gonna spend more money to advertise that now our meeting location is changed?
Yeah.
Unnecessarily, because it's October. Why do it now? There's no point. My other question is all the religious paraphernalia of Mr. Rowan's church going to be out of there so that people who are not part of Mr. Rowan's religion do not feel intimidated doing their civic duty or attending a governmental meeting in a place of worship?
How petty are you to move?
Well, so there has,
Seriously.
the only handicap accessible entrance to that church is through all that religion. So anyone that would meet that ramp is subject to Mr. Rowan's religion to attend a governmental meeting. And also, everything in that social room or where the bathrooms are, is there no religious paraphernalia in any of that?
To my knowledge,
No crosses, no pictures of Jesus.
Nothing.
Nothing.
No Lord's Prayer, no sermons, nothing, no angels, anything related to Mr. Rowan's church and his religion that people are going to be subject to when they go to this governmental meeting.
not that I'm aware of.
Because I, for one, will not have my religious freedom impinged on to do my civic duty to this office that I was elected to, unlike Mr. Rowan, because you feel the need to move us to a place of worship.
What about the council meeting where all council voted to hold the meetings here under a one-year contract for $1 a month with the exception of the Kirk room?
And then also, yes, it's a good question, and our attorney, the lovely Mr. Bouget, had said if the council had voted to meet here, this is where we should meet.
Exactly.
But isn't it true that thereafter make a
Give me a
motion
kiss.
to do otherwise?
2 meetings left in the year. 2 meetings. You petty little tyrant.
It's just because now you have the quorum of the Kirk and the state.
So we're going to violate the religious freedom.
I think there's still discussion, Darrell.
You don't go to church
And
anymore.
I have a question.
Yeah, I'm
Where
still
will the
talking
girl
about our
documents?
violations.
Where will the girl documents be stored?
I believe in the contract of, between the church and,
So do we own the church, or yes or no?
don't you let me answer the question?
Well, I think that would really, do we own the church? Go
Okay,
ahead.
why don't you let me answer your first question?
Once you
Go ahead, Darrell, go ahead, by Mr. Boucher.
Under contract to purchase it, yes. And we have the ability to, there's a room over there to store the borough records. It'll be under lock and key.
The building, the room's not ready yet, is it?
To my knowledge, it is. I can check and verify.
It's back in this year ago, they said they had
Well, long-
to work on the room, get it
As
ready.
long as we're on the church run, I see in the, I wasn't here, September special meeting here, but I see where you were questioning why you're not gonna do the contract with the borough. What is the reason why you're not gonna?
Yeah, and you already told we're still discussing it, so let me.
You're around already, lady. I heard it for the last 20 minutes.
All your
I
protection.
didn't hear it.
Really?
I still have questions answered, so.
Excuse me, I got a question back around because I've got concern being a council member, why he's not handling it for the borough.
I don't think I'm gonna do it.
Pardon?
I don't think I'm gonna do it.
And what's your reason?
I don't feel like I should be doing it.
Because he knows it ain't legal.
Because he knows he's wrong.
You're our attorney, so
You guys paid enough for him to be.
what gives you the right to just pick and choose? And if there is, I think we should be notified why there's a personal reason. or
That's why you can
issue.
that's why you can have an assistant solicitor.
Yeah, so to pay more money.
So did you actually help him do this contract? That Darrell stated that you wrote the contract up for him?
I was involved in the contract last year.
That's right.
That's right.
Well,
He
that's
contract.
last year, yeah.
That was the contract on December 22nd that they voted on.
Yeah.
That's last
So now we're sitting on two different contracts. How does that work?
Not that I'm aware of.
year.
Not that I'm aware of. There's, when you say two different contracts, what are you referring to?
Well, I think Keith gave a contract out back in December, and then it was a big secret, and then actually the contract came out somewhere, about March or something, that you guys signed.
The sign one.
So like, when did you get together and sign the contract?
And it was different.
When actually was it voted on to pay a $50,000 check? Just because you entered into a contract doesn't make it valid that you can actually pay a check out. If we've got a contract, but he's made a contract with Scott Township, why don't we just vote to pay Scott Township? We had a contract with him. We didn't need to vote to pay him.
Yeah, question.
It's a drama.
Well, my question is, how did you pay him $50,000
I think it,
without a vote from council?
I think it was both from council and states in terms of the contract.
Just because you voted on a contract, that wasn't good enough to pay him.
That can be the contract, right?
Is anybody curious about what the code says for assistant solicitor?
Yeah.
Section 1118, assistant solicitor. A council may by resolution appoint an assistant solicitor to assist the solicitor in the performance of the solicitor's duties and in the absence or disability of the solicitor to perform the duties and exercise the powers of the solicitor. It's a little loose.
In the absence.
You can't.
Absence or
It's supposed to be
disability.
assisting him
Disability.
or
Right.
his absence.
So you gave pick and choose what you want to represent for this borough.
I'm still
We don't
waiting
want-
for my question to be answered. How are we establishing people's freedom of religion when we're at these meetings and not impinging on their belief system?
They're not.
When
they don't care.
Mr. Kirk Rowe's church is obviously a Christian church.
We didn't have a holy meeting in the church. So.
But people have to go through the church if they're handicapped. And the whole thing is the church owned by the Baptist church.
Right, it is.
And there's religious paraphernalia
That is
around
why-
that whole area.
That is why the Wayne County Board of Election would not have the election.
I know that, exactly.
It's not a problem. They do it in Pike County, they hold the church, they also St. Patrick's.
Outside in the parking lot.
They don't hold them outside the park.
Well, they have, you have to walk through the church.
They
The main
walk
church?
through- They walk through the rest.
How about give a
The
legal
only
opinion?
handicapped entrance to that church is through the sanctuary with all of Mr. Rowe's Christianity.
Right, the same reason why they couldn't hold the election there. I know you guys.
There's
do
no
your
other
own laws.
handicapped entrance.
No,
Therefore,
don't get carried away with it. That was one reason. Another one reason was the constable of the election cannot be in 3 places at one time. In case somebody did do some damage in the church, they wouldn't have known about it. Constable's job is inside and outside, and they felt there would be 3 places there that would not be covered. That's one reason.
Which is great, Mr. Snowden, but I have the right to freedom of religion, and I have the right to not have my government impose religion on me, which these gentlemen are trying to do by forcing me to meet in a church.
I agree, everybody has their rights.
I have that right, and I am elected to this position, unlike Mr. Kirkland, who people booted him off.
Right.
And we, the
Okay.
community, care.
I said yes on that motion.
Kirk, thank you.
Okay. Yes.
So remains yes. Kristen?
I'm still waiting for my question to be answered.
They're not gonna answer you. They do what they want, they make
I
their
am
own
waiting for
laws.
my question to be answered. Are you guaranteeing my freedom of religion and my removal from intimidation by Mr. Kirkland's religion by forcing me to meet in his Christian Baptist church?
This is gonna blow up bad.
Remain in the social room.
And,
And the only handicap entrance into that church is through the sanctuary, and you cannot guarantee me that there's no religious paraphernalia that I will have to encounter anywhere in that social room, going to the bathroom, coming through the handicap entrance.
so what was the vote?
Yeah, you can start.
Daniel Haynes, yes. Kirk Bruin abstains. Heath Payne, yes. Charles Haynes, yes.
The, I,
Church belong to the borough.
No.
No,
Will it belong?
Yes.
hopefully.
Possibly.
maybe.
Hopefully, no.
That is part of the current lawsuit against the borough.
The property will belong to the borough.
Will the church have any?
Oh,
Oh, yeah,
yes, the church
is to have it,
Yes,
and
please
control of it.
explain all of it.
Not only do they have the means, they don't control of those houses.
Yes.
As a church,
Yes.
this is part of the purchase agreement.
Correct.
It is.
So they'll say another religious group can't use
The
it.
borough and the church are going to share the bill.
Probably the best thing would be to
Yes.
get a copy of the contract.
Yeah, you should get a copy
Right,
of
the
the
borough only has use of the social room, then the bathrooms and the storage area. The church can keep all their stuff in there, the church still owns the tables in there and can rent out the tables. We would be responsible for all maintenance, however, of the church.
And the church decides
Yes, for the whole building.
Your monetary.
And you're only allowed to use it for meetings and nothing else.
Right. And
But we own the building,
we're only allowed to use it for our.
and it's Kurt Gross, a
What was the purchase price?
deacon of the church.
I can get you a copy of the contract.
Pardon?
$75,000.
But there are terms and conditions within that contract. And one of them is the borough's, as long as it's a church, the borough's only responsible for $600 a year for heat. You're only responsible for $600 for the lights. Anything above and beyond that goes to the church.
But it's responsible for plowing the church.
What's the borough's financial obligation under this contract?
$75,000.
75%.
That we're supposed to be buying a building that we can't use, but what's the point?
It's $50,000 non-refundable.
Okay, oh yeah, don't forget the down payment, the non-refundable down payment. So when this falls through, Kirkland's church gets to be saved. Because the people don't go there. And that's why they did it in the first place, because it's failing.
You're welcome to attend any time you want.
I wouldn't attend your church.
I can't
so
take
big.
it.
I've experienced your bigotry personally, Kurt. I experienced your bigotry personally.
I'm still waiting for my question to be answered.
Where's the $50,000 for the Catholics?
That's
other church,
my
the
question
Methodist.
is not answered. What are we gonna do with the borough stuff? If you're gonna start having meetings over there, is it really proper to have put back on Mr. Guardiola, be having him storing the borough stuff over here? If this isn't gonna be the borough, it sort of seems very odd and very peculiar that you're gonna be storing stuff back here, but you want everything back over to the church.
It'll all
If
disappear.
you've got the control of the quorum and now that Gail's gone, you got the control of the
We're
quorum.
paid up with this.
Don't you think it'd be nice to take
The year, correct?
the,
So we have access to that storage room. till the end of the year, correct? We've paid.
Well, I think someone should contact Mr. Guardiola to see
I'm
what
just
he
saying with
wants.
regard to the records, we have a few more months. I mean.
It's up to Mr. Guardiola. Either party could just do away with the contract.
Can't have meetings here for the fire, why would you sort it out?
Okay, we'll take and send a letter. Wait,
So-
now there's a motion on the floor. Do you want to vote yes or no?
No.
Okay. 3 yes, no, 1 no vote, 1 abstain and 1 no.
Excuse me, I did not say no and I did not abstain, so
You
you
were
did
a
not
no
put that.
vote. You were a no vote.
No, I did not.
She did not say, she said, where?
I did not vote.
There was no motion. You're a liar. You're a
That
liar.
is called,
Vote.
that is
That's
called,
right. Hey,
not a no vote.
Hey, quiet down.
That is not a no vote, that
It's
is.
not.
It's a non-vote then. Public comment.
I have 2 questions. One, well, a statement and 2 questions. Keith, I appreciate you doing the work as secretary. As everyone can see, it's a pretty thankless job. My only question about the IRS filing, I appreciate that you're doing that online. How does the IRS communicate back to you if you do not provide them an email address when you registered the account?
Are you talking about the unemployment?
Yep.
Okay,
I'm just curious. I'm asking a question.
All right.
If you
they
register,
require me to put in an email, I will put in the Starrucca as the contact.
okay.
Just like every other email I've been sending out, I CC the borough email account. So when I'm done with this, which I hope is shortly,
I can
all the
understand.
records, will be in the email and it will be in there. That's why I'm apprehensive even opening up the email, because I don't want to be accused of deleting stuff, etc., etc. I'm trying to distance myself from the files, from the emails, so nobody can claim that I did anything maliciously, etc. So
That's fair.
if
It's
anybody has, please put it in the paper. We're looking for a secretary. Anybody's interested.
Keith,
fair
is that
enough.
something like somebody
Mike.
saying that you did something bad? Is that like what you guys have accused Ray of?
wait.
So-
I never accused
so-
We
somebody
have
of
not,
so-
we have not accused Ray of
And I-
anything.
Just to say, be honest.
I do, and it's a sad state of affairs that Keith and I are both so concerned about the state of the records, and that I'm asking that, since I'm going to be audited, I would like to have the opportunity to observe the moving of the files.
I want no part of moving of the files. Right?
Well, I just want to observe. I don't want to move them. I've already moved them
Okay.
twice.
When we get to that point in time, somebody will contact us.
Great. Thank you.
So, I have a question that I would like Mr. Boucher to clarify, since we're talking about, Keith acting as secretary, if he's done with Facebook. The assistant secretary may be,
You're not gonna make me slide on it. It's in all meetings. The president's gonna tell you not to make those slide comments.
Only if you tell us what to say.
Slide, there's no room for slide.
All right, just shut up, let us ask questions.
There's no room for it.
according to the Borough Code Book, the assistant secretary may be appointed from the membership of the council, but shall not be any other officer of the council. Can you interpret that for me?
We can't hold
He
president, vice
can't be a
president.
president, a vice president, or a treasurer.
And what does the term officer of the council mean?
President, vice president,
It
secretary.
actually doesn't. It means any sitting member of the council.
I disagree.
You can disagree all you want.
That's why you're asking me a question. Nobody answered, don't ask me a question.
Also, I was right, thank you, so then he can't vote. So then my other question is,
That he can't vote.
is he acting as treasurer if he's making deposits?
No, you're not acting as
But if he's making deposits, that's a treasurer job, correct?
I have not made any deposits. If you don't want me to make any deposits, I'm more
Well,
than
the
happy.
How
assistant
you
treasurer
transfer?
cannot be a member of the
I can
council.
transfer.
That's a
treasurer.
deposit.
He's not a treasurer.
If he's handling money in any way, shape, or form, that's exactly what he is. If he's making a deposit,
Who is Charles?
The other meeting, the surveyor handed Gail a check. It doesn't make her the treasurer. She handled money. It doesn't make her the treasurer.
she was president and can have access to that.
She's not a
He's
treasurer.
not, he's just a random council member.
I see you skipped over here on the agenda about posting for the secretary job, I guess.
And then,
Yeah, I mean, we can advertise, we can post something at the post office.
You can't do it in the post office, you do it in the outside.
Right.
That's what you gotta do.
You can't get to it now because you
You
got
can't,
to
you
check
got it
off.
all torn apart, and that's not even on there. I don't think so.
people won't be able to get to it the way it's set up, so forget the post office. Get it paper.
Cindy Furman needs,
And you gotta do a background search, I'm sure.
What's that,
Cindy Furman needs a copy of all the changes that been made.
All right,
He's right.
okay.
Mayor's right. Yeah, mayor's right.
She hasn't been notified of anything requested.
All right, I'll make sure she gets an update.
Okay, I'll make a motion to advertise for secretary and, try independent. I'll second that.
To advertise for what?
Secretary,
Secretary, treasurer,
no, secretary.
I'm interested in.
Yeah, secretary, banking law officer.
What was your motion again?
The advertising, try independent for secretary, banking law officer.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Donald James Jr., yes.
Keith Payne, yes.
Darrell Haynes, yes.
Kristen Power, yes.
Jack, yes.
I need a motion to adjourn.
No, not yet.
Second motion.
No, I got a few things here. I put on that I wanted some stuff added to the agenda and you guys ignored me, so I don't know. Ryan, how does that work? Gail tried to get it that everybody could go on and get things added to the agenda, so I got several things on the agenda that was never put on, and he said.
They make a motion to amend the agenda. Why did they vote?
Alright.
But that needs to be at 5:35 on Friday night.
But you have no, there's no.
So what about the
deadline.
24-hour notice? I didn't get my 24-hour notice.
The agenda has to be posted 24 hours.
I didn't get my
There's a
my
motion
bills to be
second
paid.
adjourn.
So we're not gonna adjourn this, you do?
I said yes.
Another
Well, here's the other thing. On the,
Yes.
Darrell Haynes, yes.
the budget.
You just got.
You can't ignore people.
It's like,
I'm
that's
trying
what
to
they do
close the meeting, and I got something to bring
They
up.
already read that you can't even be secretary and vote. She read it right there to think that doesn't matter. Because yes, it's an idiot. Because it's not legal. And so wrong is, nothing's wrong.
Yeah.